Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to it once again. This is UpFront.
Yes.
If you do not know my name, read the description. If you do, I'm sorry, I'm fixing my notes. If you do, thank you. If you don't know her name, read the description. If you don't know his name,
I don't know
go
who
back
he
to
is.
the other
Today,
episode.
I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are.
Because people have a problem. So people like to have you introduce yourself all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, on the internet, I don't think you should introduce yourself. Like someone
But you should.
Someone jumps into your inbox and says, "Hi, my name is Ziz." Chief, it's written at the
But
top.
you should. I believe you should. I mean, come on. Wait. Before you even start, I feel like you should, mostly because it's how I'm going to address you throughout the whole conversation or throughout the whole lifetime, right?
Okay.
It's just like using government names or your nickname or stage name.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah, but I think it's more because maybe I'm watching the podcast for the first time, so I don't know who you are.
Okay.
I think maybe that would be the more apt reason. But anyway, either way, it's all good. I mean,
But I
Rewind.
think if you're watching it for the first time, then you must go to episode
Welcome.
1, where we're still,
Follow
camera
suit.
shy, and you're trying to behave. What are the people going to say?
Can I walk out of set?
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to it once again. Thank you for having us. Today we have Lusolotja Ginindza. Mbutho. We've had him before in the episode. We talked about so many things. I was quiet. I was in awe the whole time because we really come across walking encyclopedias. You know, mina kakhulu ke bambokoko sebashiye emhlabeni. So uyabona nje lokuthi uhlala ulalela ukuthi bantu bathini. You know, and learn as much as you possibly can. It's a beautiful thing. It can never be replaced by anything.
The sad part about Umnaget Furaktelengwami is because he does not want to age.
And it's a it's not sad. It's a beautiful thing.
Why?
it's the cannabinoids.
Oi!
It's the cannabinoids.
Moving right along.
Right along. By the way, I like the way speaking of Emma encyclopedias, I like the way he actually uses cannabinoids instead of cannabis. Please, is there a difference or
Well, my cannabinoids, it's something that fulagala from cannabis.
Okay.
Yeah, so the different letsago, my secret 11 herbs and spices,
They are within.
They are called cannabinoids, yes. So there's a variety of them, each good for different aspects of your body. Yeah, so
Basically, it's now going off record. We were actually mentioning something about your mixed martial arts and your pressure points. So you'd actually equate it to something like that.
something like what?
The different, I can see within the cannabis,
Yeah.
there's different cannabinoids.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just like your different pressure points and their uses.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much,
That's
yeah.
actually quite
And
good.
my cannabinoids work with different parts of your body.
Okay.
Because in each different part of your body, gune ma receptors, ala ma cannabinoids,
Oh,
which is what is known as the endocannabinoidal system that fulagala emveni nasetlwaneni.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why then ukanza gokuthi then you can apply cannabis topically uyicobise and it works for you, maybe ushile or something, or your skin kube kunenkinga onemajiji or nje uyabona, just nje for niceness, so yeah, it then works like that.
Cool, no problem. Shoti, before we actually start with how you got into this industry, let's find out. How long have you been in the industry of cannabinoidal work, if I may say?
Industry attack.
It's been a while, but most of the time it was okay for me. How I actually got into it was just doing research on hemp.
Okay.
Right. So
Now he's using a different word.
Yeah. So when I got to learn about hemp, I was blown away. There's a plant that you can use to build houses, to make clothes, to have as food, to have as medicine, to have as cosmetics, to have as anything that you can see with your eyes right now.
Multifaceted.
You know what I mean? And it's illegal, you know. So I went, you know, started deeper into that, and then that led to the cannabis, the recreational cannabis.
Okay.
And then, which also then moved into the medicinal. So I've just been all around that whole cannabis sphere, so to say. So then from there, we moved into lobbying, you know, just trying to meet certain people like members of parliament, or, you know, how it is when Eswatini, so we have to speak to them, and, you know, that kind of vibe. So we've been working like behind the scenes as lobbyists.
Okay.
I mean, for lack of a better word, yeah.
Okay, for the people who are actually watching this episode this episode, because we already have the other one. Why you keep on saying we? Who's we?
I'd say is a certain entity, corporate entity that I'm part of, called Umjono.
Okay.
Right, which is the first and currently the only company that was registered with that sole mandate to pursue research and other, and, you know, spheres around cannabis in the country.
So it's already established.
It is, yes.
So
just that we don't deal with products because it is illegal in the law currently, even though you can deal with cannabinoids that are low in THC.
Okay.
So which would be CBD. You can definitely deal with that. It's
dispose of it. Okay.
Or any of the other cannabinoids. You know, the only problematic one is THC, because THC is the one that is responsible for making you high. Yeah.
Hence why it's extracted.
Hence why it is extracted.
Okay.
So the other cannabinoids then. You know, hip hop array.
Okay. Would you actually say Umjono is rather, do you guys actually deal with the laws or the bills that are being passed? No matter, you guys are just trying to get the uses of cannabinoids into the public, sensitizing them, to say.
Well, I mean, you can't really. The thing about the laws is everybody is invited. Whenever a law is being made, before it gets passed, there's a point where members of the public are invited to make their own contribution.
Okay.
You know? So, I mean, when such instances come up, then you may find that we may also put in our 2 cents worth or things like that. You know what I mean? In as much as everybody, you can also go there and do the same thing as well. So, that's the thing.
Okay.
But like I've said it, we've been doing it for quite a while. It's not something that started like 5 years ago or something. It's been.
So when did it start, really?
So it's in the early 2000s, pretty much. I mean, at the time it was very difficult to even speak about it because it was just like a no, you know, sort of situation until they started legalizing in Oregon and Colorado and, you know, in the States. And then it became less taboo. And then they did it as well in SA. And then it became even less taboo. So, you know. And
now here we are with our own.
Even though with us, it's not like, oh, come on, it's only, you know.
But then we should, research, we actually mentioned this the other time on some research shows that Eswatini is one nation that actually uses.
Hardcore, but we're not really comfortable with facing reality sometimes. So we say, Is it
a matter of society or?
I think it's how we are. It's how we are. I don't know why we do it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. We already have the people that use this on a daily.
Yeah.
Not to mention anyone, but we have people that actually use it, and being myself medicinally, and I think you too at the point in time.
Yeah.
Like how can we now use? Okay, first and foremost, with medicinal. Let's start off with the medicinal uses of. I'd call it weed.
Yeah.
But then I know there's the right.
For the sake of the podcast,
let's just call it weed.
Okay. Cannabinoids is a big word for me to say really quickly. So I'll just say weed. So if I say weed, I'm referring to the
The cannabinoids.
It's in context. this time
Yeah,
around.
it's a.
in
Let,
context.
Alright.
let's start with the medicinal uses for weed and then recreationally later on.
Okay.
Yeah, what would you say? Because I've got a whole list here.
Yeah, there is such a lot. I'd say I know of this. This is where the whole cannabinoids thing become like a catch-22 sort of situation.
Okay.
So you find that there's people that are on chemo, for instance. So they want to be off the opiates, that you normally take after you're going through chemo, just to
Mellow you down. And apparently it's painful.
So you find that because it's got side effects.
Okay.
They throw up, they just they don't feel 100%. So you find that a lot of people then opt for cannabis oil, which is high in THC, which is going to make them mellow and sleep without throwing up and things like this. And you also find that it also generates certain things like your appetite and things like this, something that you wouldn't otherwise have because of the other drug that you're taking. You know what I mean? So it's those things that and that's like a medicine. So like I said, there's so many because the human body is made up of the endocannabinoidal system.
Okay.
So you find that the cannabinoids, depending on the type that you are looking for, perhaps you're into weight loss, then CGN or something is going to help you with weight loss. Perhaps you want a virality, you're now forgetting stuff, CBG or whatever, because there's like thousands of, we know a few, but there's thousands of them, of these cannabinoids that still need to be researched, because you have to understand that research on cannabis was banned by most countries.
Banned?
Yeah, just like completely stopped since 1937, that prohibition. So a lot of countries stopped doing research on the plant, except one that never stopped. As a result, not necessarily cannabis that you smoke, but the industrial cannabis, hemp. The largest grower is China.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? I'm talking about millions and millions of hectares, because they see it as something that is going to help them catapult their economy even further, because, you can get clothes from it, food, build houses from it, make cars out of it.
Okay.
Basically, catapult, super capacitators, better than what you have right now for your batteries and things like this. So, it's like, if you have that opportunity to move into that direction and you're a third world country like us, then you actually, I'm seeing tangible results within a few months, really.
But why ban such a, it's more, what's the logic behind banning? What do you think?
Well,
from the conversation we had the last time, I'm not sure if it's on record or not. I understand, or from an economic perspective, I'm not an economist. It doesn't make any sense, But from a social perspective, like Washo Lumpo for the last time, I could say, it's difficult to direct a person who's on weed, a person who's intoxicated.
Back to the war story.
Back to the war story.
However, I think Leo sees is that because there's a slight difference between the two. Recreational, because there's three different types, even though.
So they banned everything.
There is recreational, which is what we do every morning, every midday and every night. There's There's medicinal. And then there is industrial. So they fundamentally.
All of these are different strains.
Different strains. You know what I mean? So they basically killed all three of them because they were a threat to, like hemp in particular.
Okay.
It was a threat to. They just discovered oil in Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
So it was a threat to the motor industry because, I mean, you can also run your car on hemp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, if you give the public that type of power,
You know what I mean? There's no need for you to go to any of these gas stations. You can make your own gas, literally make your own gas, and you can power anything. You know, you
just
can,
like ethanol.
like
thing.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can actually, like petrol would. So if koso power a generator can do that, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh no.
But
So they killed it. You can make fabric out of it.
I remember you saying, you
You know?
would see the first pair of Levi's jeans.
Levi, yeah.
Levi's, whatever.
Made of hemp, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Levi Strauss himself.
Now, my question. You said China being the largest grower right now.
Yeah. Of hemp.
Of hemp. And thinking, see, probably they see it as something that could boost their economy even further than where it is.
True.
So now, from the three different usages, how can they all three now, in your opinion, help boost not just our economy but the African one? Let's not talk about the world just yet, but let's talk about our country, the region, and the continent.
Okay. I wouldn't really want to go to the regions.
Okay.
Let's just focus
on our country.
on little old S Diesel.
Yeah.
Right. I will just concentrate on the industrial cannabis for now.
Okay.
Simply because it's easier to grow.
Yeah.
Like I told you the last time, you only need to grow it at 150 to 200 per square meter. So fundamentally, it's like you sugar cane or something, or worse than sugar cane. So you don't really need to look after it. It's simple.
It's
like
a
that.
natural thing
it's
for
going
us.
to grow naturally. So if you can imagine that from 1 hectare, you're able to get 5,000 pairs of denim. 1 hectare. You know what I mean? In terms of jeans, from 1 hectare, you're talking about tons, because this thing is going to give you so much in return. So you're talking about tons of seeds and things like this.
Okay.
So there is a lot in terms of the economy that can happen for the country. If you break down that plant, you are able to have material that can help you build houses, passive houses that are fundamentally post-modern housing. Yes, it's modern, but it's better than what it is we call modern right now, because this one is a passive house. You don't really need to overheat it. You don't really need to cool it. It heats itself and it also cools itself. You know what I mean?
I think I'd like more detail as to how we can build houses like that, though, with that type of material.
Yeah, no, it's fairly simple, really. What you do is you get the trunk of the tree. Okay. Right. Inside the trunk, you get like husks. If you break it down, then there's these things like inside. Yeah, so you take those, mix them with water, and
plaster
grass.
Sort of.
Yeah, like make like a plaster, and then the thing about it is that it's low bearing. Yeah, so unlike concrete, it's low bearing, so it's not really advisable to build like multiple stories on it. You're limited when it comes to that. But anyway, so you take that and you compact it, right? After a while, the thing will harden, and then you move it and you do the same thing on top like that. Then you're going to have a wall.
That's a long process.
So that's it's not like concrete. Like we're building with concrete, it's slightly different. But the thing is, the difference with that is that this particular wall actually, it's like it's alive, so it breathes. That's why it's able to regulate temperature itself. That's the thing. That's the advantage. You won't get that with the concrete jungle. No ways. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So there's a lot that same thing applies then with the medicinal. Some people are going to say, "Oh no, we're going to grow cannabis that is like so high in CBD, and that is exactly what you're going to grow it for. But I mean, there's other people that have done major research, like the Israelis, for instance, that they grow specific strains for medicinal purposes. You know, like, for whatever you can imagine, there's a strain that they've grown for that. Specifically for that. If you say, oh no, I've got a back pain, okay, wait right there, I know what you're talking about. Give him the B52, what, Khalim, one, you know, and then voila, 2 hits, no pain at the back. You know?
I think we should actually look into it. I mean, with the bill being discussed as yet in Parliament, I think we as a people, somehow, we should actually have our 2 cents on there's people that have asthma, there's people that have cancer, there's people that have...
And some have back pain
general,
like me.
Exactly,
you know
back pains. We were actually speaking about this, and the acupuncture, right? You can actually use it for so many things. So, I don't know. I thought let's move away from just the recreational aspect of it.
Yeah,
of course.
Understand? Let's just now look at it at a larger scale. However, touching on the recreational aspect of it, do you have any stories you want to tell us?
No, man. Like, I don't have stories. Like, this is serious, guys. Like, I'm actually. This one is trying to get gossip, screaming for the serious.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna ignore Lusolotja.
Yeah.
So, having touched on, you've said industrial marijuana, industrial weed.
Yeah.
Industrial weed. Weed in like, for the sake of the podcast.
There's hemp, there's marijuana, there's cannabinoids. He still needs to explain.
No, like weed in I'm still going to have more time to learn as much as I can from him. But now you've touched on how you've made an example with building houses aspect of things.
Yeah.
To what degree do you think in this country the legalization of hemp would disrupt a couple of industries? For instance, maybe the textile industry in Matapa or something like that, or the whatever industry that maybe the construction industry. How do you think it would disrupt? And that disruption, do you think, is it a kind of disruption that everybody needs so that we can all innovate and reinvent ourselves, even at a business level?
All right. I think if we were to introduce a hemp particularly with grand ideas of a social revolution, you know what I mean, then it would work like that. It would because it it would change drastically. There's a place down there, that Nisela area, in Sogo.
Yeah.
They used to have a cotton ginnery. Okay. If they were to grow hemp and work on that ginnery, the amount of textiles that would be able to produce is insane. You know, because the people have the farms, they're just chilling right now because you don't make as much money on the sugar and things like that anymore. The loot is on the hemp. You know what I mean? Okay. And the idea is to have, if you're going to have an industry growing like that, then it's only proper to have the people as well around those farms,
local
also growing
communities
as well. Yeah. Because like I said the last time, the thing with hemp is it creates micro industries, right? Okay. Because your product is so much, you know, so you can't really transport it over long periods. Okay. So long distances. So you just need to have like a meal or whatever within like a 50-kilometer radius. It's easier that way. However, there's other things that you can have where you're going to have like macro producers. So if, for instance, I'm growing my hemp, I've got like a hectare or two, and then I just make my own fiber. Okay. You know, as Ginindza, you know, we've got like 1 hectare of land, we're growing our hemp, and we've got our small decortator, this thing that they call it, just because it's a very sturdy plant, it's very hard, you know, so it helps with crushing it, you know. So then from there maybe I can make my my yarn, you know, or my fabric or whatever, or I can make these things for blocks for construction or whatever that I need to do. But I'm able to do whatever that I need to do within my home. You know what I mean? I'm able to extract oil, and you can come and buy cannabis oil from me. It's high on CBD. You know, it's high on CBD, so it's good for your grandmother. It's good for your son. It's good for your pet as well. You know, because you can also give the same medicine to animals, and they respond positively to it.
All I'm hearing is benefits.
Yeah.
All I'm hearing is benefits.
So now we're nearly out of time.
Yeah.
But you know, we're never out of time.
Yeah.
Because time does not exist.
Yes, so.
Anyway, story for another day. So now, you've touched on so cousin in terms of what do you call it, a grand social revolution.
Yes.
Now, what can I, as a Swazi, do to help Umjono in achieving its objectives? Because I want to believe we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
We want a better economy.
True.
We want this and that and this all at the same time. So what is it that I can do to help your organization better achieve its objectives, especially when it comes to the eventual legalization of hemp for industrial use?
I would say it is important for people to just do their own research.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just learn as much as possible. Ungangokuthi hey Lusolotja ngimbonile lapha khuluma hey uyabeka hamba nawe uyotiniketa isikhathi ufunze nje ukuthi ya madoda so iBMW vele yakhiwa ngayo vele le hemp yabona yes class vele wow yabona ya madoda iBugatti you know because once you actually understand what you're talking about and what is at stake ukuthi siluzani about dilly-dallying yabona then sitawusukuma sonke ngalivilinye sithi cha bekunene let's move in this direction yabo and emva kwaloko you know but
as a unit
but we all need to take time and just do our research, read on this. Internet ikhona bekunene yaloko
ingahlali la yeah. I have one question actually. You know too wow. I want to touch on something, the spiritual aspect of did I touch on the spiritual aspect of using hemp/weed/marijuana, because as you mentioned Ekalen Gutsi, already our bodies themselves are within the spectrum or are already filled with this cannabinoidal yes we already are walking systems of this plant.
True. Now
here I am using something that's already within me. What's the mental aspect of it? Ihamba njani, the spirit aspect of your experience of it, because I guess this is
yes, my experience vele iba deep ngoba experience yami isuka ngale ngasemabutfeni.
Okay.
You know, so ke emabutfo akabhemi njengema jite ekonene town engojeni no umbutfo uyaphahla. You know, it's a sacrament. It's a sacrament.
Okay.
Nase you know seyibuya nje kubuya lishawulo kusenjetwa. After that utava ukuthi sekhona losabonga emakhosi soyabonga so shaya poetry le ancient yabona so connector yabona with.
Can you see the smile on his face with the reaction?
You know what I mean? So it's very it's
deeper
a big
than
deal.
life. Yeah.
It's positive fun in hip hop. It's bigger than religion. It's bigger than the government. You know, it's too fatila. So vele wakhona lokuyisebenta kanjalo, because if ubona ukuthi noma uthi yo consulta kulenye traditional healer nayishisa imbephu kanza ukuthi kumbe kunelilongo lelisipele nalo nje liyasha, you know, ayabhema emadloda ayathola ajabula abuya yakhona kumchazela kahle,
ukuthi kahle hle ngilana
here is the 4-1. So it's on that level. Yabona, it's a big deal to us. Akusiko nje ukudlala nje.
So do you think, I hope I actually structured this correctly. With Eswatini being as big as it is spiritually, because we are grounded on spirituality more than anything. And now here we are with this plant, right? Our strain being, I mean, worldly renowned, beautifully placed, and I mean, seeing would you actually link the two together?
Which two?
Our spirituality and the plant.
Of course, I mean, definitely. I mean, no doubt, Lapo. I mean, I don't know whether I said this the last time. As part of our the Swazi cosmos, outside of smoking, every homestead is expected to have that plant, even if you're not going to smoke. Lokuthi sikhona nje, sicosha botikoloshi. La asuyafika tikoloshi tamgagabula. Tsakwe ayika makhelwane ayoganga khona setimkhaya lo sisikhona nasi avuke ekseni bokufuneka ngimkhambe sekusile abagijima bele ekhaya, you know, angasilikhona nje, it's one of the trees la khona nje.
So it's akusi info yemidlalo ukuthi ngidawumane nje uhlale ngoje toti
no good deep. Yeah, good deep.
And that's the aspect that people are missing more.
That's the aspect that people are missing, because, you know, bayat kona ukuthi ekse indara bebhema uyabona. Abathi lokuthi lomkhula bebhema on
ukhuluma nabani kahle.
Bona sebabuka nje.
Manini.
Yeah.
Banfa bat.
No, abati banf.
What is it that we are doing to pass that information? Even if it's in a small scale, in a large scale, whatever scale that we decide, because uyabona nyalo sisitwashinya, you understand, last twashinya lo dasha in so many places.
Yes,
you understand, which means there are so many people in so many places. It's agreeing with them.
But sengiyabudake mina bamfu bayayifuna yini information.
It doesn't matter.
I think nyalo lo kwendeka kanje nabayithola.
It doesn't matter because I think by 8 but I also believe lokuthi mina ngithanza tinto yabona. So sangifuna ukuthi place like le movement ekufundisa labantu ngalo.
Ushido wathi naye uthanza tindzaba, hence why he's a walking encyclopedia. Thanza tindzaba.
So how do you think we can best educate our communities besides the people that we have access to in real time?
Yeah, true.
Or rather, I can talk to this person about these things because they're my friend and I can explain to them better. Yeah, but what is it that we can do now to pass this information on and educate others?
Platforms such as this, I think, are essential for passing on the information. But nje abantu labanjengathi badzinga lokuthi bahle baphuma, you know, and share the information.
Okay.
Personally, I have some oils that I make. Coconut oil is a carrier of stuff, right? So because ikahle na cause ungakhona kuyishisisa, so iyakhona kumunya.
Imelt kahle,
true. Imunye lama cannabinoids nje. You know, so le nang leyo if we gcobisa uyabona, yeah, if utshela umuntu ukuthi it's so good for you what sathi uyabona, but asoyigcobisa wena nokunene utivele uthi yewena ngimlo ngibamba elipiki bengisolongishaya simba lapha sifake amapoli uyabona, le bantwana la ngithi ngiyabathinza abavele bamelt nje ngilama futhi asekenda le magic yabona. So lenvo leyo khona kuyi experience ngekuthi ukwende, if ungakakhona ikwena then you won't be able to experience it. Yabo. So nathi we should go out there and try and educate as and make people actually
And
experience
demonstrate,
experience lokuthi nasikhuluma ngaloko sikhuluma ngani yabona thina nje we wishing ukuthi sasike sibe naso store lapho khona sitawuthengisa CBD products yabona because CBD
Pop-up
products
shops.
pop-up shops speak yilana na CBD ngosi awugeze tandla na insipho yakhona na indvangu yakhona na utivele wona nangamasoke sakhona because amasokisi aloko for instance angazuthi iheater uyabona because I add regulator uyabona so wafaka wona uyu phinza ufake lokunye so it's those things lekwenta ukuthi experience then you'll be able to understand it better.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Lompofu. Again, I'll say this again. I said it the last time. These are one of the topics that we can never exhaust. I think in your plan as Jono, probably you could set up create content, digital content that specific to educating, because now it will no longer be about Little Swati, but it's going to benefit almost everyone the world over. So I think I love where you're going to with this, you know. And the short time that I've known you, I did not know, even think once that you're busy with such things, because this is game changing, man. This is game changing if you think about it. What you're doing, when we reach the point where this is legalized and to the benefit of the citizen and the citizens' leaders. So everything about this, I love it so much what you're doing. So I think maybe you could even create some content or plug in yourself on the internet so that we can educate and reach more people with these things, because meaning I'm listening and I can listen for hours. Because there's an overflow of information that's just there.
I feel like as yet the information may be passed. Here we are doing it already. However, Nyalo, it's more like we can pass the information, but what are we doing for the larger benefit of the citizen?
That's what they're doing at John. They are lobbyists. So whatever.
Now, but Pella, you can also lobby because teenage bahulumende wetinkhundla uqonza ngqo ku MP wakho uthi hey baba lelele yini omdlalo leni wendako lapha akube nje kulomthetho
manje ingani
qonza kuye ngqo
nasasifika ngitaze ngithi Malaweni
ubeke nini yakho lapha asivale Lompofu
uyafuna lokuya manje
sekashiwo kutawusaya masala
akatheleke amele bonza ngayaphi
man, thank you so much for listening. Lendlela evala ngayo inkhumbuto uMofi kumfumthala umpokane. Thank you so much for listening. This is UpFront. Shout out to DTtv. Lusolotja sabonga kakhulu mnethu.
I know, thank you for having me.
Ngicela usithi nje Kafa ngetibongelelo noma he's the poetic part of the Ginindza surname. Uthi nje Tsafa kancane.
Umsukela ngani ngale ka Ginindza?
Please.
Usukela ngani ka Ginindza? What va? You have to vele uyangiphuza lenza. Bosobonga
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us.